Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 14 of Downloadable Opinions. My name is Brian Best. I am a co-host on this wonderful show that we call Downloadable Opinions. And joining me, as always, is the villainous Adam Gayton. Adam, how you doing?
10.5-hour shifts suck.
10.5-hour shifts suck for him. I'm currently going to be unemployed in T-minus... When this comes out, I will be unemployed. There you go. I gotta go to school in next week, so yeah.
Yay!
But anyways, this is the show where we talk about the gaming news of the week or weeks, as this one will be. We just go into our opinions and we have a lot of fun with it. But anyways, we're going to talk about our two top stories of the day. Our first one is going to be OnLive going extinct. OnLive's founder, chief... Alright. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Let me start that again. How about that? OnLive's founder and chief executive officer, Steve Perlman, on Tuesday announced that he was going to resign from the company he helped build, citing that he needs to focus on other projects. OnLive is an online gaming service that allows users to stream high-end games on virtually any computer. The company is hailed as one of the most innovative and disrupting leaders in the gaming industry of this decade. Perlman himself is also regarded as one of Silicon Valley's brainiest inventors and entrepreneurs. He is also credited as a key developer of the software that a lot of people use. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. QuickTime.
Wait, what?
Yes.
What's that? I feel like I've heard of this before.
Exactly.
It's like we almost use it for everything.
He's got some money behind him. For the past few months, OnLive has been showing signs of distress. After letting go nearly half of their staff and liquidating nearly all the company's assets in order to stave off bankruptcy, as well as changing ownership, the messaging from the OnLive brand is that they will continue on. OnLive CEO or COO, Charlie, I'm going to butcher this name, Jaboski, has stepped up as acting CEO during this transition. So, first question that we got to our minds is, what is going on with OnLive?
Well, can I ask another question first? What's with you and last names? You need to stop giving yourself these things.
I hate them. I need to start spelling.
You need to start throwing these stories to me so I can read this part out, just so that way you don't have to butcher anything anymore. I don't really know what's going on with them now. I mean, it might have just been that they thought what they were going to do was just costing them a lot more than what they thought it would.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a startup company, and while there is a lot of money behind it, I mean, if they're not getting the subscribers they wanted, then obviously it's just going to be a sinking ship.
I mean, I remember way back in college, I was making a random website for a course, and that was right around that time that announcement came out. So I'm like, fuck, that's perfect. Put that at the front of the page because I was making a gaming website.
Yeah.
And the second I heard every little detail about this, I'm like, man, that sounds awesome. Like, I need to go after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Shut up. I didn't go nuts for Ouya or anything else, but, OnLive,
OnLive, the big thing that you need to have.
Well, it was more in the sense that they actually were coming out with legit good games at the start, at least that's what we were told.
Yeah, well, they have big partners like EA, Activision, Square Enix.
It was just funny that they announced games that are now 3 years old now. You're like, oh, you still haven't come out with anything. Yeah,
well, I mean, Batman Arkham Asylum was a big one, as well as a number of other games. Can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember previewing Batman Arkham Asylum, and it was really good on the college's high bandwidth line, which is part of the problem here in Canada, is that we don't have internet providers that give us high bandwidth.
ISPs suck.
Well, at least the ones here. We don't have the same kind of bandwidth that a lot of people in the States have, or a lot of people in the UK have as well. I mean, we're a big country. It's hard to get fiber networks in.
Yeah, come on, Rogers and Bell. You guys collectively own the Maple Leafs now. Like, come on, get your ass. You can tell us that you're gonna have so much money from this team alone. You can make some decent internet now, right? You're gonna be making like $1 billion a year from hockey fans.
I'm a Leafs fan. I know it's sad.
No one's a Leafs fan. Fan is short for fanatic, and you know what fanatics are.
Yeah.
I'm a follower because a follower understands what reality is, and the reality is that the only parades we're going to be planning are for the 50th and 100th anniversary of our last Stanley Cup.
Very true. All right, well, getting off the topic of hockey, going back to OnLive.
Damn it.
Basically, the company is a sinking ship. It has changed ownership right now to a different company. They're trying to work out paying back their investors the money that they borrowed in order to get this company started off. But what is interesting now to see is just today, on Wednesday, Square Enix has launched their own competition to this. It's called Core Online. With the title, it's aiming towards the hardcore gaming market. Right now, they only have they have 2 games, 1 game actually, really, and that is Hitman Blood Money. Basically, kind of a cool game, third-person shooter with a lot of stealth emphasis. It's fun. You've heard me talk about it to no end. So basically, the idea with this site is you can play as much as you want of this game, so long as you're willing to endure ads at random intervals. I think it's 10 minutes and so on. It's a couple minutes between each one. But you can also buy individual levels. You can buy the first mission, or you can buy the 6th mission, or you can buy up to the last mission, each for a certain dollar value. I think it goes about 50 cents for each mission, and then you can buy the entire thing. These all play within browser. So you can play this with your keyboard. You can boot it up in Chrome. You can go there right now and play this game. If you go to coreonline.com, you can just go off and play it. It's kind of interesting, but I can't play it on my computer. It crashes. I mean, I should definitely put this in asterisk that it is beta, but yeah, that's what
It's kind of weird to me that they named it Core Online when their whole system for Final Fantasy XI was called Play Online. So the creativity there just skyrocketed over.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to think of this idea, though.
Well,
The one thing I had the problem with is the ads. And people were like, well, you got to put some ads in there. I'm like, yes. But if it's literally happening in 10-minute intervals or something to that extent during gameplay, that can create some serious fucking problems. I can imagine every 10 minutes an ad will pop up every time you pause something, but I feel that I know you have to make some sort of money off people who are not actually paying full price or whatever else, but you're basically losing any ground. You're not going to get people interested if you're going to make them pay to just enjoy a game, because I don't feel you're going to enjoy it if you're going to be playing, especially a game like Hitman where you need to have your eyes peeled and all of a sudden, bloop.
Well, it does pause gameplay while the ad is running.
That's not good enough, though, because it could be right in the middle of the most heated moment.
That is absolutely true. But
I can understand, like, loading screens, fucking, cutscenes or whatever, where it's not too important, or find moments in the game where it's like, there are parts written into the game where it's not busy. It's dead walking or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do it then. Don't just do it at a random point and especially interrupt somebody's play.
Well, I mean, the thing is, they have the counter on screen while you're playing, so long as you're not viewing it in full screen mode, which, granted, a lot of players are going to do.
Yes.
But, I mean, this isn't new to a lot of people in the States. If you're using Hulu, you're very familiar with this in terms of when commercials come on during your movies, during your television shows. This is also the same thing that Mega Upload was doing, or Mega Video, I should say.
You're also not in control of watching something, though. You're playing something. Playing and watching is two completely different
But you're
things.
also not paying for it.
Yeah.
So you're paying for something for free. Granted, you can always pirate it, but you're paying something for free from the company itself. They have to make money off of it. Ad revenue is the only way.
I just think... I have no problem with it being ads. I just think there's a better way to implement it. Because just the way that it is now, it's I understand why they have to do it, but it just in practice, it's going to result in a few problems. It's going to get some people away from the service because it's going to piss them off.
Well, the thing is, they're 50 cents a level. I mean, games are...
I'm not arguing that.
Yeah, well, okay.
I'm just arguing the simple principle that the ads are being blooped in this wrong spot.
The thing is, if they're ads in certain spots... I'm just seeing this in an investors meeting. What's stopping a player from not pressing pause? What's stopping a player from not going down a certain alley where they know an ad's going to pop up? I mean, obviously,
That's why linear games are perfect for this.
Like
Final Fantasy 13.
This is an interesting concept. They obviously don't want people playing for free.
Obviously not.
Ad generation is minimal to them, but what they want you to do is pay for... I mean, paying permission, that's something very interesting, because really, you can skip this entire game and play the last mission if you wanted to, and not play anything else.
Because there's always games that you never finished as a kid, so you're thinking, okay, well, I never finished those too.
Yeah.
I don't have to play that.
Exactly.
I mean, it's the same deal. You can buy the first level as a demo. You know.
Yeah, you can buy the first level. You can buy the last level as a demo. You can buy any part in between to play if you want to. And you're absolutely right. If you bought Hitman Blood Money way back in the day, you bought it on the PS2, and you haven't beaten it, then this is a perfect time to go off and beat it. I mean, the game is free right now that you can play, quote unquote.
But I mean, imagine a game like I don't know if you would ever see it on this thing, but a game like Dynasty Warriors where it's constant, hectic, crazy slash and dashing.
Yeah.
Having something pop up there when there's 50 enemies around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in going with the Square Enix properties, Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Human Revolution, when you're doing social combat, when you have to really pay attention to things.
Yeah. That'd be a terrible time to do that.
It would definitely be a terrible time to have an ad pop up. But hopefully, I mean, like, if the pricing structure works out well and they find a way to either do a subscription like OnLive was doing or find a way to subsidize the cost of actual games so all this money goes right back into Square Enix's pocket, this is really cool all of a sudden.
More ways to keep GameStop away from everything.
I would hate to be GameStop right now, to be honest.
If the writing wasn't on the wall yet, it is now.
Yeah. I just like, if Square Enix can go out and do this, then
we're talking Square Enix. We're not even thinking about what Activision Blizzard could come up with or EA could come up with now.
Well, EA is probably already looking at this model and being like, okay, let's do that for Origin.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
not to say Square Enix isn't a big company, but when you think of how big the American companies are here, the stuff they could think of doing.
Absolutely.
Especially Activision. Oh my God. Call of Duty, some sense in this. Being able to... Oh my God.
Well, I mean, the big thing is now that OnLive is possibly going the way of the dinosaur. I mean, this, like, none of this stuff, none of this kind of, like, Blizzard would... Or sorry, not Blizzard. Square Enix would never thought to do with this unless OnLive did it first.
Yeah.
And, you know, this just goes to show what OnLive has actually done to the gaming industry and why it's being considered to be the most disruptive company in the past little while for the gaming industry.
That really doesn't sound familiar at all, does it? Something being done first, and then every other company suddenly deciding it's a good idea. It's not like this happened with motion controls and 3D graphics and cameras and wireless stuff.
Yeah.
No, nobody copies each other. It's not like Apple and Samsung just had a whole thing about that.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Well, I mean, the big thing is when companies like this are coming into existence and they don't become a Netflix or they don't become something really big overnight, we usually see them be bought out. Which is interesting that we haven't seen OnLive get purchased by like Microsoft or any of the big major game companies.
I think it's probably because most of them didn't see any value in it yet because it hadn't proven itself.
That's true.
As we've seen with a lot of companies, they will not buy anything until they've seen it work.
But now we have this entire giant talent pool of people that have worked on, you know, this cutting edge software that they can now go off and, like, they'll probably be picked up by Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo and basically just come up with new game ideas or new ways to play gaming.
In the next couple of years, we'll be seeing stuff at E3 announcing this whole new console that you don't even have to touch.
It will probably be the last console generation too, because if they find ways to improve this system and make it, you know, completely 100% lag free, they find a way to do it all over the internet, then what's the point of making new consoles?
I guess really the only question to that would be, especially in most other places, would they offer better internet to be able to withhold this?
And that's the big thing. And no one likes working with service providers. I mean, the only person that does a very good job working with service providers, and you're going to hate me for saying this, but it's Apple. And that's because they take their ISPs and they grab them by the balls. And it's just like, you do this or you're not getting an iPhone.
Yeah, and you know why that is? Because they're the biggest trend right now. So if anybody says no to them, well, I guess they're not making a shitload of money now.
They're not the biggest trend. They are the phone. They are the phone that sets everything. And like I mean, look what they did with the music industry. There's no artist left on the planet that doesn't use iTunes to sell their stuff. No major artist, anyways. Shut up about the indie stuff, and I know where they go for that kind of crap. But movie industry, television, all that kind of stuff, they start off with the 99-cent deals, all those television like things. The only people that have gone or past them is people like Netflix, or maybe Groove Shark, to be honest.
Just saying, that's the reason why most people want to know them, is because if they do, they just want to make money. If you want to make money, and as much as I hate them, Apple's the place to make money.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they're the only people that can actually go to ISPs and be like, you will offer this plan this way with no exception. And they'll get it. Because that's the beauty part of having one device. Which I guess some other players could probably get a hold of too. Yeah. Or get the idea to use. Anyways, so yeah, basically OnLive is still around for now. We'll see what happens with them in the next little while. But as we know, OnLive is coming out on the Ouya console, as well as coming to a computer near you.
It's not going to work now. But...
Well, we'll see what happens with it. Anyways, moving on to the second story of the day, Skyrim has new DLC. And which, if you haven't heard by now, it is called Hearthfire.
A whole extra 5 hours of stuff, and then you can go play another 200 hours of random side quests.
Only a month since their last expansion, Dawnguard, Bethesda Software is releasing new content to their role-playing epic Skyrim called Hearthfire. Now, this DLC is not what you would expect. It doesn't add any new dragons or vampires or really any new enemies whatsoever. In fact, the closest thing it comes to in comparison is The Sims. That's right, the main feature of Hearthfire is that you can craft your own house, raise a family, and fit it all with your loot. Hearthfire promises to add to players' games by adding a few houses or house-related quests, such as clearing skeever infestations, gathering supplies, defending your property, and rescuing kidnapped housemates. Hearthfire will be coming to the Xbox 360 first on September 4th, and the DLC will only cost $5. PlayStation 3 and PC are expected to get the update in the next few months, or next month, sorry. So anyways, let's talk about Skyrim.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Can they please not release 10 extra expansion packs on top of this mod?
Well, let's think about it. Skyrim's like a 100-hour game.
Can we please not put Katy Perry in this game too?
Oh god, yes. An H&M, Skyrim.
We already know how to kiss a girl. We've done that with our own female characters. Come on, don't tell me nobody else tried doing that.
You know, it'd be cool, like getting Drew Carey in there. He was in one of the Sims expansions.
Yeah, but at least he has some like ability to him, unlike some bitch that got in this time.
You know what?
Who I'm sure a lot of people are mad at me now for hating, but fuck you.
Probably. That's why you're the villain.
Exactly. And this isn't just a role. I literally hate the shit out of her.
So anyways, Skyrim is a 100+ hour game. Dawnguard adds probably another 25 to 50 hours depending on how you play. And this is probably guaranteed to give you at least 10 hours. At least a good chunk of time. Because you can make houses, you can customize them, put in all your own stuff, and you can have multiple houses across the land of Skyrim. Which is the other cool thing, I guess, of it.
Just put a house in the middle of nowhere. Find an island and just be like, what?
Just what? What are you going to
do? Actually, put it on top of the big ass. What's the fucking massive mountain?
Throat of the world.
Yeah, put it right on the tip.
The dragon up there will be very pleased to have you.
The dragon's like, that's my spot.
Not anymore. Dragon run.
He just kind of stands there and goes, no.
Not happening.
Gone. There goes the house.
Well, I mean...
Actually, that would be pretty funny if he just flies away while you're building it.
Yeah.
And then once it's done, all you see is...
just crashes into it. So anyways, what do you think of Skyrim getting this kind of like DLC? I mean, it's rather Simish.
It's weird that something's coming like this, but then again, I did always have that thought in the back of my mind. It's like, fuck, I hate this house. Why did I buy this house?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, these decorations look fucking dumb. I'd rather would just have the empty house with cobwebs everywhere because it all looks like shit anyway. I think this is a great idea but it depends on how much you get to customize.
Yeah.
Because if you can't customize the inside, it still defeats the purpose.
Well, I mean, they show it as much as, like, you can design rooms, and then you can say what you want in that room. I don't think you're able to design what goes where.
That's a big problem then.
Yeah.
Because Because that's the problem with a lot of the housing. It's just like, but I don't want this here. It looks stupid here.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'll give these guys a little bit of a shit for. They don't know how to design houses very well. Clearly, somebody needs to get that flip that house crew on into Skyrim.
Flip that house into. I see that being a thing somewhere on YouTube. Flip that house Skyrim.
Do it up, guys.
But yeah, no, I mean it's
Extreme Makeover Skyrim edition.
Oh god.
I'll just think of these all day, but you can go ahead.
Big Brother Skyrim. Yeah, no, I mean it's a cool kind of idea for a DLC. Let's talk about the price. I mean, we normally bitch about DLCs being too expensive, too dumb, too stupid. But at $5 or 400 Microsoft points, what do you think about this?
You're telling me if I'm happy with not having to spend $20 on something I'm going to spend 2 hours on?
Yeah.
No, you got my thumbs up there.
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, I'll spend 160 points on Minecraft skin packs, but, which are awesome, by the way.
It's true.
The best thing, they have Super Meat Boy.
Yeah.
He has no head because his head's here. So you have literally no head. So if you put armor on, you have no face.
Do you still have a hitbox on your head, though?
Yeah.
Oh,
you can still shoot an arrow at your head.
Darn, I thought that was a way to cheat. Be like Oddjob in Minecraft.
No. Do not bring that bastard up
Oh my
again.
god, Notch. Please. Oddjob in Minecraft with no hitbox on the head. Everyone will get so pissed off, but it'll be so fun. Well, just think, you no longer have one block above you. You can fit through one block areas.
I really do hope, though, that this is a trend that's going to start, that a big game, like a really big and popular game like Skyrim, comes out with a piece of DLC that's cheap.
Yeah.
And I really hope that people buy this a lot, so people will understand that this is the price you need to put things on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a great little piece of content because there is already a housing system in Skyrim. You don't have to have this in order to do anything else in the game, unless you want to have these stupid little side house quests, but I don't think you do. Oh, the other side thing, getting off topic here, you can adopt children now in this DLC, which is a little
Just walk
weird.
into the orphanage. What's the town way out in the freaking
It's River Run.
Town? River Run?
I think it is.
Wait, no, not White Run.
No, White Run. I'm mixing words.
But it's like way in the bottom right corner. I can't think of what the name is.
Rivendell?
But you end up killing like the woman that owns the place because the one kid tells you to.
Yeah.
Just walk into that place, go up and goes, you. Not you.
Not you.
And just walk out.
Just walk away. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it is, it doesn't add, it's enhancing certain parts of the gameplay, which is, in my opinion,
it might be why
worth
it isn't like $10-15, but,
Yeah.
It's still a fair price,
Yeah.
considering you've already paid $70, and probably with, how much was,
Dawnguard, I think it was like, $20, I think, 25.
Okay, that might be why then.
Yeah. So, I mean, $5 for this piece of DLC is...
So maybe it's not all DLC will be this cheap, but like actually getting value for your fucking dollar.
The thing is, Dawnguard added like a good, solid 25-50 hours to your gameplay.
Not most DLC where they charge you $10 for 2 new characters.
Or 2 hours of work. Or, level.
Saz, heads or tails, fuck you, Square Enix. Now you know why a lot of people didn't buy the other DLCs you brought in, because the first one sucked.
Now, the other side of this coin is there's been a lot of heat coming towards Bethesda, especially on their YouTube page, that the modding community, the PC really doesn't need this, and paying $5 for it just kind of seems stupid.
Okay, then don't buy it.
Absolutely, I agree with them. If you...
I'll give this argument simply. Okay, PC gamers, you have the modding technology. Xbox and PS or PlayStation don't.
Yep.
So, fuck off. Don't buy it.
Yeah, don't buy it.
Simple as that.
I think, good on Bethesda for releasing it for everyone. I mean, giving it to Xbox
Because not everybody likes doing the mods, because some people know that some of that shit can come with virus.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some of it can screw up the game if you're not careful, if you don't know how to place it properly.
Yeah.
There's always a risk.
I've
screwed up several games because of mod. I screwed up the first time I installed Sims 3. I put so much shit into it that it crashed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can definitely do some damage to your game. PC, it's nice to get all the DLC out for all the systems. You're absolutely right. Xbox and PlayStation 3, they don't have the modding community. They can't have the modding community just because how the game works. And having Bethesda come out with stuff that, adds a little more customization
well, it was like
to
the
your
Portal
game.
2 DLC that came out that you can make your own levels. And they made it available for Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, guys, why can anybody complain about it? What's wrong with choice?
Yeah, exactly.
And again, it comes down to it. If PC gamers don't like the fact that it's something that they already do, well then don't pay the $5. It's not like it's really going to affect you.
True.
It's a couple stupid quests. Like, I'm sure most of the people that are going to buy this are not going to do the quest. They just want to make a bitchin' house.
Yeah, exactly. They want to make an awesome house. And you know what? Probably someone has seen this already on the PC. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to make a better modding or house creating material or whatever it is. Because once this comes
it's
out,
like whenever Minecraft adopts new things and everybody's like, oh yeah, well I've done this already.
Yeah.
Or here, I can one-up this. That's the thing about PC. Somebody's already trying to one-up each other.
Yeah.
But the rest of us on consoles don't get the chance to, so let us have this.
You know what? I think this is great for the PC modding community because of the fact that there is that one-upmanship. There's going to be someone out there right now, we don't know who it is, but they're going to come up with a better housing system than Bethesda will. And that's just going to be awesome. And Bethesda's liked it. They probably want this stuff to happen. Anyways, so let's get into the quick time events. That's it for the major stories of the day. Something that's going to get me really stupidly angry is Call of Duty Black Ops 2 will have a $180 care package edition of the game. Now, the reason why it's $180 is it comes with a... What do they call those things? It's a helicopter. It's basically a miniature helicopter.
Oh, the dragonfly. I think it's dragonflies.
Yeah,
something like dragonfires or something like that.
Dragon skin. It's supposed to,
whatever those like 4-pronged helicopter toys things are.
Yeah, it's a replica of one of the drone turret themajigs in the game, but it comes with a remote control. You can fly it around, and plus it kind of looks pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie.
Side note. Cool. This package will not drop from the sky and possibly kill you or your teammate.
And the gun doesn't work.
If anybody's ever been killed by their own care package, you know how I feel.
The care package edition will be coming out along with Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Do you have your quick time events in front
I have to make sure that you're done.
I'm done.
I'm being professional.
Okay.
I'm being patient.
I'm the one.
Lord knows there's a lot of people in the industry that is not patient. But I think it's Arcos or Archos, one or the other. I think Arcos makes more sense because Archos sounds like it's a nacho brand. Damn it, now I'm hungry. But anyway, it's basically an Android 4.0 ice cream sandwich, but it looks like a really thin Vita. And it's going to be launched in October. And you just showed me the picture today, and I was like, yeah, that's clearly just like a flat screen Vita.
Yep, it's exactly a knockoff of Vita. And if Samsung got sued for $1 billion for making a phone that looks like the iPhone 3GS... I think these guys are going to get a call from Sony at some point.
Well, there goes another company out of business. Isn't it really sad, though, to think that a company can afford $1 billion to pay off Apple?
Yeah, but think about...
That's where you really realize just how...
Well, they are appealing the decision to get less.
Of course they're appealing the decision. It means they have more time to get more money so they can pay off the $1 billion, because they're screwed.
And, you got to think about Samsung's in a couple of different, ponds of money-making, like televisions, washing machines, that kind of stuff.
Well, they're just calling everybody up and saying, get the hell over there! Make us some goddamn money now!
Sell more TVs!
We've been found! There's a lot of guys that just lost their hair now in Samsung.
Yeah, well, doesn't help that, the email is kind of willfully infringed on Apple.
Here's an idea, guys. Make your own shit.
You don't have to follow them and deliberately say...
You can do things like what they're doing, but you don't do the things that they're doing.
And at least give them some buffer. Whatever. Okay, anyways.
If you're going to do that, you might as well just put the fucking Apple and just have, like, a colored version of it on there and just make it look like a Granny Smith.
Granny Smith. Whatever.
Nachos and apples. This is really working out.
Next story. Nintendo is bringing the Wii U and a bunch of launch titles to PAX Prime, which should be fun for them.
If you like child's games.
If you like child's games. And you really want to play the Wii U for some reason or another. And it should be interesting come November or whatever times.
We still have our doubts about it.
Oh boy.
And last but not least, finally, Mass Effect 3's DLC of Leviathan drops this week. Which means I'm probably not going to play it for about a month because I'm stuck on Minecraft and Counter-Strike, and I still have to replay number 2 because I screwed up some things in the first playthrough. I kind of killed a few people by accident. I forgot that before the mission where you jump the relay into the collector base, that if you do any missions before you make the jump, all your crew members die. I forgot about that part, so I kind of happened to kill Chambers and Gabby and Ken, and I'm like, okay, I really like Ken and Gabby because they have my favorite line from 2, which is, but all haggis taste like ass anyway, and he goes, yes, but in the right hands, it'll taste like mighty fine ass. I can't let them die. Now I'm mad because I got like another 60 hours to drop back into it.
Before you even get
because I got to legitimately play through everything to make sure every possible outcome is decided pre-time. Because the whole reason I'm redoing the whole thing is because Ashley pissed me off in the third game. I'm like, okay, Tally, you're up.
Tally, it's your turn. But, I mean, like... Crap, what was I going to say? I can't even install Leviathan right now because I have no hard drive space left after installing the extended cut. 250
gig Xbox for the fucking win.
I hate you. I literally have no space between Mass Effect 3 and Battlefield 3. I've got no space on my hard drive. I've got no games.
I think I already said this to you, but get a portable drive, and then you're like, oh yeah, I need money for that.
I need money for that. I need a job.
We need to fundraise for Brian so we can actually get a less shitty console.
We're going to start an Indiegogo page for Brian.
To give Brian money.
Give Brian money so he can buy a better Xbox and put more stuff on it. This is going to be me shaking my fist.
Oh, I'll donate a penny just for you.
Yes! We're halfway there.
Actually, no, I'll just give you a gumball.
God damn it.
Hey, it could be a good gumball.
Could be a good gumball.
I didn't say what flavor, but...
So anyways, Adam, you have some reviews for us, don't you?
I have a review.
You have a review?
I wish I had reviews, but nothing really good came. Well, I could review the skin pack, which was awesome, but that's about it. There, okay. But that's one review done.
Okay.
Get it.
Get the skin pack of Minecraft-ness.
There are actually some really good ones. They have a Jet Force Gemini couple of skins in there. And I don't know if you remember that game. That was a great N64 game. I thought
they must have done a deal with... Well, who owns the rights for Rare now?
I don't know.
Is it Microsoft Studios?
I think they might. I'm not sure. But, like, I looked through some of the stuff and thinking, how the hell did this get in Minecraft? I'm like, how is it these things? Because, I mean, Perfect Dark's in it.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there thinking, Jet Force Gemini, does anybody even remember this game?
What?
Except me?
The next one that's going to come out is Banjo-Kazooie.
No, they already did it.
They did it?
They did Banjo-Tooie in the first pack.
What? And I didn't know this?
Yeah.
Oh. Jesus.
This is what you get.
This is what I get from not jumping on my Xbox in the past month. Jeez. Alright, your review.
Well, Counter-Strike Global Offensive came out. And, it's exactly what I remember as it being. As I said to you, it's the reasons why I love and hate it. And the reason I love it is because it requires skill. Mm-hmm. And the reason I hate it is because it requires skill. This game, if you play Call of Duty or Battlefield or any other, mainstream shooter, be prepared for the first, 5 to 10 hours to be completely pissed off. Because here's a concept. Mm-hmm. Not every shot you shoot's going to hit its target.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but when you fire a gun, it doesn't always go where you think it will. Because there's things around, like guys moving away. Mm. And, snipers sometimes, the wind might blow it an inch off. Apparently, most shooters forgot that.
Yep.
So when you play a game like Counter-Strike, you just assume, I'm just going to blind fire. Oh, shit, I'm dead already. Because staying still and crouching is the way to get better accuracy. Mm. Because, not everybody runs around at Usain Bolt speed and fires perfect shots. So, naturally, you have to actually be smart. You're not... Actually, no, I did see a guy running around with a shotgun like a jackass in Counter-Strike the other night, but you're not going to see guys running around with knives trying to kill... Because knives don't do killing that well in this game.
No. I mean, it's all well and good when you get a knife kill, but knives are good for one thing, and making you go faster is that one thing.
Yes. Yeah, there's actually, physics in this game. Things that make sense. You run faster with just a knife in your hands and not an M249 machine gun.
But everyone runs fast with a knife.
But, the game itself, there's a few little things that I got to nitpick out of it. Okay. One is that there are a lot of weird glitches in it.
Okay.
For example, there was one game I played where I couldn't reload.
Yep.
And this is on a server.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a problem. There was one guy who came onto a server and was complaining that the only thing he could do was jump and move. He could not even shoot his gun. That might put him at a bit of a disadvantage.
That would be a thing. Although if you win like that, that's a different story.
Well, it just means all he's doing is collecting hostages because he can't do it. Because if he can't defuse it or he can't plant a bomb, he can't do that either.
Yeah, true.
But like, there's always these weird little things that, and I don't know if that's just something they can quickly patch or if it's just having to do with how bad this. I don't know. I don't know how good the servers are. It's an arcade title, so you can't guarantee it's going to be amazing servers. Mm-hmm. But it's Valve, so I expect better anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, Valve, you can run your own servers.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Players get their own servers, they can do things. Unless I'm completely mistaken, Valve is running their own stuff.
The other thing that drives me nuts is that for most people who do understand Counter-Strike, there's two different modes. There's bomb defusal and there's hostages.
Yep.
So in one mode, it's like search and destroy essentially in Call of Duty, where you have two bomb sites to plant. If you plant one, and everybody's got to get the hell out and defuse that before it blows. Mm-hmm. In hostages, there are two sets of hostages somewhere, and usually in the T spawns, or terrorist spawns, because counter-terrorists and terrorists for people who don't know Counter-Strike. And you have to basically either collect all those hostages or it just ends when a team dies. Mm-hmm. In the case of defusal missions, you can kill all the people on the terrorist side, but if the bomb's planted, you're still going to defuse it, otherwise you're still blowing up.
Yep.
It's like suicide bombers. If they die, it doesn't matter if they die. If they blow something up, their mission succeeded. Mm-hmm. So the one problem I have is that you can't play both modes in one lobby. You can only play either a defusal round of maps or a hostage round of maps. You can't do both, which is really, really odd, I guess. Because, like, there's not a lot of maps. There's usually, like, maybe 6 to 8 per game type.
Yeah.
Which means that by the time you hit maybe an hour, you'll have played every map. And there's also vote maps, too, you know. So sometimes people are skipping certain ones to go back to Dust, because everybody loves Dust.
Yeah. Well, not to interrupt, but I will say that Valve does have a very large mod base for this. And, modded maps have always been a thing in Counter-Strike.
Xbox won't get that.
Xbox won't get that. However, I will say that having Counter-Strike Go come out now reminds me a hell of a lot of when Source came out. Because now I feel like, because I never played 1.6.
Yeah,
I never played Counter-Strike 1.6.
I didn't either. I played I played Condition Zero, which was that really bad single player one. You remember that?
No, I don't remember playing it. I remember it being out, but I never remember playing it. But the thing is, when Source came out, I started playing Source a lot and started getting pretty good at it. But then I remember hearing from all my friends that, 1.6 was so much better, it had so much more this, it's so much more polished. And of course, 1.6 was then polished. It's been out for so many years.
There's always guys that'll say, Black Ops is so much better than Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
That's because you were better at Black Ops, I'm sure. Just because you're better at one game over the other doesn't mean that one was shit.
But now I'm hearing from some of those same friends that when they're playing Counter-Strike Go, it's like it's a great game and all, but I just long for the days of Counter-Strike Source and sitting down and playing with my friends and the LAN party and stuff like that. It's funny how this keeps happening every single iteration.
Guys, we were supposed to be happy that this game came out. Shut up. Nostalgia is not worth anything.
Well, the thing is with these games, you can go back and reinstall it and probably reinstall it on your phone.
I've reinstalled Source like 10 times on my laptop because I keep doing it, then playing one game, hating it again because I suck, and uninstalling it so I have disk space again, and then like, I should try playing it again. You always have the option to do it because as long as Steam knows you've purchased it, you can just keep redoing it.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll say that about that, but like the same thing happens with Deus Ex. Anytime you mention Deus Ex, someone picks it up again and reinstalls it. That game is so old, but it is so fun. And good times.
People need to get out of this whole idea that nothing's ever going to be as good as its first or the first game that they grew up with. Mm-hmm. Of course not. If you have memories tied to that game, of course you're going to like it more.
Yeah.
But if you want me to say specifically, I do like Global Offensive a lot more than Source. It just needs a little more tweaking. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. I think give it time, and it will be as good as
there
Source.
There are some simple additions
that
they made that are really good. Like they have 2 new modes, which is Arms Race and Demolition. Mm-hmm. Demolition is 1 bomb site, and every time you get 1 kill in a round, you have to switch guns. So it forces people to learn weapons.
Yep.
Same with Arms Race, which is basically gun game, which has always been a big mod in Source anyway. Mm-hmm. So they do good things. The other thing to do is they add a couple grenades. They add fire. So they add Molotovs and incendiary grenades, which works. It creates openings. It keeps people from going that way for a second. Now you have a chance to really charge a place. Just those two little things. It's like how Eagle Raptor says when X made the changes where all it was wall jumping and dashing. And those were two big things.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is put a couple tweaks in, and you can completely change the way a game is played.
Yeah.
Now, it's not quite... The AWP is still the most overpowered weapon ever. People will buy Desert Eagles always first round unless they feel like going with the dual Berettas. You know, that stuff's never going to change, but, you know, just the little things that they've done, and if with a couple patches here and there to tweak out the little problems that it has, it can be just as good, if not better, than Source. Obviously, I haven't played on the PC. I've been playing the Xbox version, so I can't complain with it too much until I play it on PC. But it does what it's supposed to do. Right now, if I want to give it a rating, it's a 7.5 because of the problems it has, and because it is stupid that you can only play one mode at a time when you could always switch between Office to Dust to Italy to Aztec. You could do that at any point. And the fact that they're in the Xbox version, at least I haven't seen whether it does this on PC or PS3. But if there are rounds where something happens that you either can't shoot or reload a gun, that's a game breaker.
Yep. I mean, these patches are things that will have to happen with an online game like this.
But given the fact that it's an arcade game and it's 1,200 points, it's hard not to complain when it's a game that will give you endless hours of fun, because that is a game that you can never be perfect at.
Okay.
You will always have a bad round.
Exactly. Is this?
I could play COD and have 10 straight rounds of like even play. I can't play 2 rounds of Counter-Strike without getting either my ass handed to me or finally starting to dominate something.
Well, before COD, before Modern Warfare, before even Halo, Counter-Strike was the first-person shooter MLG type game. It was the competitive game, everything.
To this day, it still is.
It still is, and is like Counter-Strike Go, in your opinion, still that game?
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, until I played on PC, I can't be 100% sure of that fact, but because of what I've seen on the Xbox, I have no reason not to think that. It's still the extremely challenging. You need skill and strategy to play that game. The other thing that I didn't realize yet, I don't know if I think they've said they're going to fix it. You can't go into games with your party. So it's really hard to kind of organize games. And because you can't go in with parties, it obviously means you still have to select teams, which means there are times that you might not play with your friends on the same team, which is a little bit of a disadvantage. But then again, Counter-Strike, it's a little hard to fiddle with. It's not COD where everybody's expected to play on teams.
Yep. And it'll be interesting to see what the kind of patches come out for it in the future, because obviously this will sell quite a bit on Xbox, as well as it already has on Steam. Anything else you want to add to your review?
Nope, that is it.
All right, fantastic.
Play it. If you really want a night to see just how good you are at shooters, play that game for about 2 full rounds and then come back to me. You will realize how actually wrong you are just because you think you're really good at COD or Battlefield.
All right.
That game will teach you a lesson.
So the next thing is our open-ended question. The question that we basically give our massive opinions about basically the bigger things of gaming. Not specifically dealing with one particular game company or game, but dealing with the entire industry as a whole. And
sometimes raging while doing so.
So Adam, you have the question. What is it?
Well, a while ago, I think last week, I was listening to a radio show, and they were talking, I can't remember what movie they were mentioning, but they were talking about how this movie was getting a really heavy rating because there was just a little bit of boob in it. And when you think about it, one boob compared to limbs being severed and dismemberments and organs being eaten and whatever else gets less of a rating. And when in Europe, it's a completely different story. I have to ask the question to both you and to me, which I'll answer as well. If we had a choice, if literally one of these was banned completely in North America, what would we have less of a problem dealing with? Would it be violence or nudity? Now, I'm not saying legitimately that you can't get them in any form, but it would be one of them would have to be 18 plus only and severely regulated.
I would have to say violence. I mean, nudity is something that it's not as bad. Like, if you laid out the perfect example to me before we started the show, and that was, what would you rather have your kids watch? Would you rather them watch American Pie or Saw? And the answer is obvious. It's American Pie, because I would...
Well, yeah, really, what would you rather see? A guy fucking an apple pie where you can't even see his dick anyway, though?
Yeah.
Or a guy literally getting his entire body completely torn to shreds?
Yeah. Like, it's a no-brainer. You want your kids not to see this kind of violent and disturbing imagery with something like
Or when you go
Saw.
to say, let's say, I don't know, The Witcher because of its, its nudity and sexism in it.
Yeah.
Or Manhunt.
Yeah. I mean,
you're not going to pull up games like Leisure Suit Larry, which are meant just to be porn games. I'm not talking porn as in nudity. I'm talking literally like Mass Effect.
Yeah. I mean, nudity
people made a big fuss out of the original game because they were saying, "Oh, there's all this gratuitous nudity you can play a part in," and you're like, "No, it's just side boob."
It's side boob and side ass.
And bare ass, which is like in every Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
That gets a 17 rating, not an X.
Yeah.
The second nipple pops out. Oh my god!
Tell it to HBO. But
that's a whole different story. That's why people love HBO.
It's so true.
Same with Showtime.
Well, the thing is, the gaming industry is very lax about the entire concept of nudity. I mean, look at the past couple of years. We've seen games like Duke Nukem, Witcher, Mass Effect to a larger degree nowadays.
Well, anything BioWare makes pretty much doesn't have no, or they have no problem.
They have no problem with nudity. I mean, like, there's some game companies that have gratuitous nudity. I'm going to get you, Fly.
Ryan, we're doing a show. No distractions.
But what is it? It's less of a deal as if it was a film. Like, the rating system is very... Like, the ESRB is powerful, but in the fact that M-rated games also includes partial nudity and nudity, you can get away with a lot more than having an NC-17 or a rated X and the movie side of things.
Yeah, the film business isn't screwed up at all.
That's the film side. The gaming side, I would say that, you get games... Nudity I would rather see than, let's say something like Manhunt again. I would rather see, a game like Mass Effect actually use nudity in places where it makes sense, where it's either going to elicit an emotion of the, romance, drama, humor even, any kind of thing like that, as opposed to seeing something like Manhunt where someone just kills someone in the most gruesome way possible.
Well, absolutely. When you think about it, unless we're talking, like I said, the Leisure Suit Larry games and stuff where it's completely deliberately porn in game form.
Yeah.
When games explore nudity and sexuality, they're not usually going to the point where they're like basically making it obvious. Mm-hmm. There's always something on the side. There's always a lead up to it. There's always a reason for it.
Yeah, and I will say that's the big difference between what say like HBO and porn is, because there's definitely a big jump between what.
Yes, they do advertise sex, but there's no obvious like showing of it. It's literally insinuation. Mm-hmm. There's thrusting in the background, but you're not seeing the action of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's a big jump to be, like, you're glorifying and making it gratuitous or beautiful or something like that, like, just basically what porn is. And then there's ways that, sex and nudity and all this kind of other stuff is used in the storyline, and it's appropriate for that use.
Yeah, most games do it like that. I mean, a game like The Witcher, obviously there was nudity almost in the first, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But... The Witcher's been notorious for that to begin with, so if you bought The Witcher 2, you probably knew this beforehand, what you were walking into. Mm-hmm. Say with a game like Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect, it takes you fucking 40, 50, 60 hours to get to the end of the game,
pretty much.
And you're literally getting nothing.
Yeah.
In a game like Call of Duty, you're already shooting heads in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah. And people make fusses over Call of Duty for other things, like the terrorist one on Modern Warfare 2, or... whatever Modern Warfare 3 had. Basically, you're right. I mean, like, I'd rather have nudity in the game than that kind of violence.
There's always the same conversation that go on with kids, or parents, I should say, that, but I don't want my kids having sex until they're old enough to understand it. Then teach them at a young age so they're ready for it. Yeah. Kids do not understand the difference between reality and fantasy until they've gotten to the point that they're 13 and up. So when I see kids that are 10 years old playing Call of Duty, you're already desanitizing them to stuff that they're not going to have any control over. It's funny that we're in a world where we've had 2 massive shootings in the last 2 months in the States. There's been the Colorado movie shooting and the New York Empire State. Was it Empire State that it was around?
It was one person, but yeah.
But it doesn't matter. These are big public shootings in big public places.
But they're not necessarily blamed on video games.
No, but it's the simple conversation between violence and sex. You don't hear about these massive, there's the odd time where you hear a case about like a rapist or something like that.
Yeah.
But you hear so much more murder and death and killing and tragic death and all that stuff than you see with any. The second there's all this death and killing and murder sanitizing you in the news, and the second there's one boob, the entire world goes up in flames, and parents are hugging their babies so close to them because they think they're going to just engulf into this firestorm. It's ridiculous to me that people think that a fucking breast, which is something that 50% of the population have, actually hell more of that because some guys have breasts themselves.
Yeah.
And that's not just because they're fat. It is a literal condition.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've heard radio enough, there's always that one commercial that's like, at the plastic surgery clinic, it's really called gynecomastia. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Just call it man boobs. Like, come on. But anyway, it's ridiculous to me that people make such a big fuss out of something that we have in our bodies.
Yeah.
Instead of an action that takes away those bodies.
This is purely looking at it from a North American, a Canadian standpoint, and looking to the American system as well. If we went over to somewhere, say, France, or even to agree, a lot of nations in the European Union, they're very cavalier with, sex and the human form anyways.
And then there's Japan.
Well, let's just stick with France, okay? I mean, that's not getting too crazy. But you're absolutely right. I mean, there's Japan, too, that has, entirely weird ways of sexual exploitation and weird things. But anyways, it purely looking at it from the American kind of standpoint where they put more emphasis on just the kind of, I won't say fighting, but having honor in battle. And it's more of I won't say praise because that's not what I mean. I won't say anything else, but it's just like fighting is higher up in terms of what is acceptable in life as opposed to sex, emotional connections, and anything else like that. It's more honor, defending your country, defending your rights, defending your freedoms. When, it's just...
The states seem to think that everything can be solved by war, when in reality, pretty much everything is solved through the word of mouth.
You know what? That is the American kind of ideal. That's manifest destiny. That's a lot of things that have been ingrained into the culture since... Because
Republicans are old, rich, white dickheads.
Well, it's not just Republicans. It's Democrats, too. It goes across party lines. And it's something that
you're more likely to find a Democrat who's against war than a Republican who's against war.
True. But, I mean, it's all... The Americans have this kind of way of life where fighting is more acceptable than... sexual and romantic
think of how many kids are getting to hold their first gun.
Yeah.
I still have not held a real gun. I'm 24. Mm-hmm. I'm sure half the American population in terms of have touched a gun before they were 10. And I'm not talking a BB gun or a laser tag. I'm talking legit hunting rifle or something like that. Yeah. Because the cliche thing, I don't know how many times we saw this in television. The cliche thing for a father and son to do was go hunting.
Yeah, and, well, to be honest, depending on where you are in Canada, that's also a true fact for them.
Well, it's not clearly on TV as much as it is in the States, where a lot of American shows were like, in Canada, you don't see it nearly as much. And not that we produce a lot of content, but...
Speaking as, a Southern Ontarian, but if you were living in Calgary or New Brunswick, let's just say, I mean, I would imagine gun use, or at least any kind of hunting equipment, is used more there.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think we advertise nearly as much because we have the gun control laws, where in America, there's literally, it's almost no bound. There's literally nothing you can't do.
Yeah. Depending on what
as long as you have the licensing, you can do whatever you want. Yeah. You could carry a handgun on you.
Yeah. I mean, these are broad generalizations that we're, throwing out there about the American public as well as the Canadian public. But, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, absolutely right in the context that the Americans have more in terms of combat wantingness, desire, I'll say, than Canadian or a lot of other countries around the world.
Well, because, I mean, you don't hear about the United States peacekeeping force as much as you hear about ours.
No, and that is definitely a part where Canada and the United States is different. We have peacekeepers, and we do have regular forces, but we have peacekeepers.
I said this once. I'm like, you know what? I guarantee you, with how quiet we are about how all we do is really just keep the peace. Yeah. We must have so many nukes hidden around our country. We're just sitting there just waiting, just be like, at any time we could take everybody out. Nobody's going to see it coming.
Considering we have the uranium to do it, yeah, I think so, maybe. Probably.
Oh, if you could just see can you see an American out in the window go, Mr. President, the Canadians are attacking us. What? But I just gave them that nice basket of maple syrup. I thought they'd like that. Sir, you don't understand. All their armies are attacking us. What, like 10 of them? Sir, they've stashed away like 50 billion people.
50 billion people.
They've been cloning all these people.
We have, what, 10 times the world population hidden in our country.
Nobody would look up in the Arctic Circle. Nobody's brave enough to go up there where it's freezing cold like we are.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, no, who am I kidding? I fucking hate the cold.
And then we get people that move up to the cold willingly, like our good friend Amsel.
Hi, Amsel.
Hi, Amsel.
Oh, they can't really make fun of him. It's only August. I don't think it's that cold up there yet.
Not yet, but just you wait.
We'll remember this in like 3 months. So just be like, Amsel, what's up there, buddy? Can you hear us through all that shivering?
See, you know what people say about, like, in the United States about Canada? You know, just about us living in igloos. We say the same thing about people that live in the territories.
That was the first, when Obamacare first came in, the first thing I said to a buddy of mine is like, you're taking all the things that we're known for. What, are you going to start living in fucking igloos now and drinking maple syrup all day? And he just started laughing. And I'm like, and I said to him, like, you know, a lot of Americans still believe that shit, right?
Oh God. But yeah, no, so I definitely agree. Getting back to the main question with what would you rather have, violence or nudity in the gaming industry? Which one you would rather have banned? I would definitely agree with violence. Like, gratuitous amounts of violence is... Well, I completely disagree that, you know, video games can influence someone's life to the point of going out and shooting someone. I will say that I'd rather have violence out of video games and replace
at least
with
in the sense that we're not seeing limbs and everything cut off. Like, we're not seeing
gratuitous amounts of it.
What Modern Warfare does, I'm okay with because it's not crazy. Like, there's the odd thing that the games do. Like, there's the one part in World at War where the guy gets his eye burned out with a cigarette and then he gets his throat slashed. Yeah. Okay, that's a little... Yeah. I mean, it's a reality of war. I think it's tongue-in-cheek when you are taking something that is historically accurate to a T, like, to a sense, I guess.
But, I mean, like, have it more...
But a game like Manhunt or a game like Mad World, for example, on the Wii. Yeah. Like, stuff like that's like, okay, I could live without those games in exchange for having games that were a little more okay with romance. Yeah. Legitimate romance, not just, oh, I love you too, mwah, and that's it.
That's it, yeah. I absolutely agree.
Come on, like, every if you think of what's going on in every gamer's head when those cliche kissy scenes go on, like, seriously, come on, we're not that stupid. We're not that dumb. We know what's really going on once you fade to black.
Yeah, and this is why a lot of artists go to the online and start drawing crap. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you wonder where all those sites come from. It's because we're like, okay, well, I don't get to see it. Fuck it, I'm drawing it.
Oh god. Yeah. Words, things, places. I think I just said my thing. You just said your thing. We're done.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch some porn now just to even everything out. So, because I've thought about I mean, I guess I should say this now before we do finish this. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, the reason that a lot of people do not like the idea of sex is because it's one more thing. I know you want to kill that fly, but calm down. I gotta finish my statement here. Okay. The one reason why parents have a real problem with sex and nudity is because it's one more thing they have to explain to their kids. I'm sorry to say it. Most parents do not like work, and they're not prepared for the work. Mm-hmm. There's always these kind of commercials that, what are you going to do when your kid comes up with this, that kind of deal. Mm-hmm. That is your job as a parent to explain those things. If a kid comes up to you at 10 and says, what's a blowjob? Okay, I understand that something didn't work out too well and wherever this came from. Mm-hmm. But at the age of 14, like, you should be teaching them by now about condoms and all this stuff. Yeah. Stop hiding the fact that sex doesn't exist. There are kids losing their virginity at 12 now, for God's sakes, and like willingly, not just, you know, by happenstance. No, there are kids literally that think they're in love at 12 and will literally give their entire body away just to have this one inkling of feeling. Yeah. So And considering that I don't think parents ever feel a need to teach their kid about violence, they feel like they have to teach about nudity and they don't want to do it because it's something they don't feel comfortable explaining. And why not? You've had sex, I've had sex, our parents obviously had to have sex. Everybody, except, Steve Carell and the 40-year-old virgin, most people in their lives have gotten laid.
Yeah.
Why are we still uncomfortable with something that is natural and is the whole reason that life begins? Why are we more comfortable with how life ends than how it begins? That's a huge problem.
Yep. I will agree with that. And I mean, like, a lot of us, we realize what it's because of our way our culture developed. It's the way that certain things have been ingrained into us since, since our great-grandparents, came out and started going down the street and talking to other, it's something that hasn't been talked about or discussed openly in so long.
Because
especially
apparently it's an uncomfortable topic, and I don't understand why. I really don't.
Well, it's something that hasn't been questioned, and now it is being questioned, and now it's becoming more and more of a thing.
And now we have to hope that in 10 years from now, we'll finally have some sort of an ideal on how to talk about these things.
Let's hope so.
Because it feels like right now, when it comes to this issue, we're like the kids at the dance who are just up against the wall not doing anything. That's really what it feels like, is that nobody wants to say a word.
Yeah. And you know what? I think the next couple generations, we will see a change in attitudes in terms of how people feel about sex, or at least nudity and that
Mass
kind of
Effect 9 will have the first penis.
Yep. Yeah,
God only knows.
Okay, well, I think that's going to be it for episode 14 of Downloadable Opinions. I want to thank all of you for sticking with us through this entire journey of awesomeness.
That we missed for a week.
We missed. Shut up. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, when Adam works a job that's 3:30 to 2 in the morning and Brian works a job that is pretty much the opposite of that, there might be scheduling conflicts.
A few times, and it doesn't help that Brian goes away on weekends sometimes to go and...
God damn it, Brian.
I'm sorry, I have a girlfriend.
I do too. What are you telling me?
I spend time with her during the weekends because I can't see her during the week. So yes, anyways, that's it for Downloadable Opinions. You've learned more about my personal life now than you have in the past couple episodes.
Yeah, Brian hates flies. He has a girl.
I want to kill this. This thing has been bugging me. We're in my office right now. This has been bugging me for the past 2 weeks. I want you to die, fly. Just die. Go away. Get off my cowboy hat.
Do you hate flies more than Dunkin' Donuts?
Okay, that's it. We're done. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter and all that jazz. Adam. Goodbye, Adam.